Yo, yo. Kind of wanted to start this up a little bit earlier, but got sidetracked with some important stuff, so don't mind me just now barely getting to try to do some daily runs, hopefully some good races, and then probably call it a night. I don't intend to stream too late, but we'll try to see how the night goes. School is starting soon, so I don't think there might be a whole lot of lobbies going on for the next few weeks. So I don't have really high hopes of there being any completely full lobbies. That is if I find any. But probably gonna try to do some lobby surfing, try to get some good action in, see how things go, and then call it then. But we'll see what's out there. At least it's looking a little lively than how it was yesterday, so I'll take it. I was kind of expecting this amount of lobbies for yesterday, but apparently not. But besides that, kind of want to warm up first. I usually race with these guys. Used to race with them pretty often, especially as to kind of get started, get used to the vibes. But just kind of depends how they'll race with me. I'm not gonna be over here racing full hard flat out, so I'm just gonna try to warm up first. I am already seeing some people getting impatient just because it's a full lobby. Other people are trying to set a lap time and stuff, so just give them a minute. It's only a lap in 25 seconds. Come on. Y'all are better than this. You'll always be the same kids that just be racing Dragon Trail Seaside all day, every day. I don't know what his idea was. Like, were you gonna let me up, let me by? Like, what are we doing? Oh my god. Come on, dog. Well, we'll scrap that race. I didn't even mean to turn on him or anything like that. It's just like, bro, like, are you backing off? Are you gonna let me by? Like, what's the game plan? Cause I did not mean to run you off, but it's just like, bruh, come on. You gotta pick what you're choosing. Like, are you gonna back off? Or gonna let me pass? Are you meant to like let off? But it's whatever. It's my fault. But it's my first race, so we'll try to at least redeem myself after that one. But we'll try to see what's up. It was only three. Be like 7 cars out of 11 Porsches that were in that race. That's crazy. But I can see the car is just like a Neo RSR. Just easy to drive though. I mean, it's a fast car, but I don't know. I usually tend to drive mine like very rarely, but I rather prefer the Huracan. Okay, I haven't done Sardinia in a minute. I like this trick. I'm still gonna drop to the back of the pack, but yeah, that first race was just kind of not what I was imagining. Here comes all the Porsches. Well, things kind of didn't work out with the Huracan for that first run, so let's see how things go with the Beetle. I've been liking this little thing. Moves pretty solid. I'm just kind of off by it having 7 gears. It has good acceleration, it's just I don't think that 7th gear is rather necessary. But the guy's a little laggy. On the straights he seemed fine, but on cornering or like proximity, yeah, that's definitely throwing me off. I miss my braking so damn bad. I thought I was gonna be able to at least brake a little bit later to catch up, but yeah, I definitely overcooked it. I could have been with that second and third up there if it wasn't for missing my brake. Alright. I was trying to get some separation instead of making it all 911s on that kind of section board, but it's only so much I can do. Wish I could be able to at least see more variety of cars, but apparently not. That Jag was catching up quick, but after he just kind of took out the Brazilian, I was like, let me try to get some separation out of here. Damn, now Master Oogway behind me. I better move. Brother, I got a break. In what world will you expect me to just not break? GG, teammate. Shit. Hey, let's go. The only M6s of the race on top 3. I'm done with that. I didn't mind taking that penalty at the end since we were pretty separated from that group. That was a pretty good pace. Not gonna lie. I don't really race there too often, so that was a little bit of learning there. Really needed that redemption run. Really needed that. But with that Porsche breaking himself on turn one, dog. I had a whole man in front of me. Like, where do you expect me to go? But I'll take a P2. I'm still learning how to properly drive this M6, so trying to be not just cautious on the gas, but still judging my lines. Well, there goes half of the lobby. So much for trying to have an eventful race weekend, but it's whatever. We'll do what's available. I thought it was gonna cut out soon enough, but I was expecting the hit at the end. That was kind of funny. Bro, why are you putting us in the front? That's just whack. Yeah, pretty good run, pretty good run. I was still trying to learn my line. BMW's on top. Like one jet again. Oh man, it is definitely a handful. It is definitely a handful of a car, but once you get going, I can definitely see why this car was such of a. That's a name I haven't seen in a minute. What up, Twix? How you doing, brother? Appreciate you swinging in. That is a name I have not seen in a minute. Considering that Ace Combat Infinity is running on PC, I would have thought I would have seen you on there, especially since the game is back up and running, at least for the meantime. Yeah, I still need to pre-order it, but I don't know. I honestly have mixed feelings about an Ace Combat game having a battle pass. But then again, we had microtransactions for Infinity, but this time around, I don't know how to process it since they're putting Pixie behind a paywall. So it's kind of like a toss-up. But yeah, the game is coming out like a couple days before my birthday, so I need to get ready for that because I'm in the idea of taking a trip somewhere. But I got a couple things going on lately, so I'm not sure if I'll end up taking it during my during the same time or probably later. And especially coming out with Ace Combat Zero, yes, that's definitely gonna be a day one play for me. I think it's gonna be for a lot of us, especially us veterans. Hey, but at least they're bringing in another game from the trilogy set. I'm just wondering when they're gonna bring Ace Combat 4 into Neo Gen, even if it's just support. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put trophies on there as well, so that's gonna be a fun time trying to 100% it. I want to play 3 since they put the English patch on it, and I really want to replay 4, but since they're bringing 0 in, I might probably just wait up on that. I do have the PlayStation emulator. Yeah, Project Nemo. Yeah, the one with the English translation for Electrosphere. I know that they got Ace Combat 6 emulated for PC, so I gotta at least get that running. I never played that game before, just played the videos. I do have an Xbox, but I never got to play 6. So I kind of want to give it like a playthrough if I do get it installed on my computer. But there's so many games coming on lately with so little time because there's a good amount of events that I'm trying to go to between next month through November. That's what I was noticing. Like it wasn't so glitchy just yet. It's just matter just messing around with the textures to at least get it running to your computer specs. But I definitely want to give it a go. I've been kind of on and off from playing this Combat Infinity on my computer. I still need to grind like the slots for my sets. Haven't really had much of a luck for the raids. All I've been getting is just level 2s. I haven't seen a 3 unless I join up on Samus or maybe one of the guys from Discord. But I just kind of been on Battlefield and here. I wouldn't say like just kind of been away from it, just trying to at least be a little bit of a mix on the games that I got so far. Plus, I'm still waiting on the next Forza Horizon to come to PS5, so that's another game that I'm also waiting on. But with the amount of people that are gonna be playing GTA 6 when it drops, I know that game's gonna be busy, especially for the holiday season. I know it's gonna be popping. It's gonna be crazy. I know, especially a lot of people are gonna be playing it like day one or the early pre-sale when getting to play the game early. So I know that's gonna be another thing that's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure that game's maybe gonna be Game of the Year, but I don't know if they'll give it to it. It's regarding of so-called Game Awards. I still miss E3 to be honest. All these state of play and all that stuff just kind of doesn't really feel the same to when we used to have E3 many years ago before they canceled it. But how you been, dog? Kind of been yapping and rambling there for a second. Yeah, I've heard about that show. Haven't really watched much of it. I know there's a lot of it on YouTube that they just kind of upload like the highlights and all that stuff to at least kind of keep up. But we also got the Metal Gear Solid Collection 2 coming out soon, which that's Metal Gear Solid 4. So that's also a game I'm trying to wait on. I still got this disc for my PS3 of it somewhere in my stash. Oh man, why do I feel like running right now? Let's try the Stang. Let's try the Mustang. little bit of cold tires. That was a little bit of cold tires, but I know in that section I'm gonna understeer hella bad. Oh. Yeah, I'll give my RSR a run. With all these new cars we got around. Yeah, it took me maybe a day or so to get the emulator running, because I couldn't really find the files to at least get the game running properly. But once I kind of got everything set up and at least properly to go, and at least somebody uploaded the video how I installed everything, just kind of rather help to see where I was kind of stuck on. Oh man, the fact I'm already yawning kind of says something already, and slightly getting hungry. If you have Discord, I could probably send them to you, especially the PS3 emulation, and you just kind of go about the video on installing it. But yeah, when they haven't done the installation video, the process was kind of a little confusing on the compilation, because they've been updating the not just the PS3 emulation, but also the game. So they've been kind of compiling it into updated versions. So it's not like you can just drop it in the same file. You have to make a new file, drop those files into the new file, update everything again, and then get it running. So it's a little bit of a hassle. I'm just hoping that they don't nuke it just yet. I'm just kind of wondering how this race is gonna go. Man down. Yeah, they're definitely gonna need a medic. Yeah, these are mostly my, I'm kind of more proficient at. I've been trying to at least get better when I'm racing with faster guys, but usually kind of been more into these sort of things, not just Gran Turismo, but also for speed and trying to gamble into the other simulators on PC. So I've been trying to do a bit of everything for mostly racing games. I'll take P5. That was a good one. I was not expecting RX Vision behind me. I know that the other guy had a penalty, but I didn't think there was gonna be somebody like that close. But that was a pretty good ground up. I was kind of losing time with the GT3R in front of me. I don't know if he was just kind of over braking, but yeah, I was just kind of dropping back from the gap that we had to almost getting cut up. At least lap time I wasn't that far off. Especially with a little bit of a older car like the M6 that's on P1, but the FT1 is also rather old. Okay. Spa it is. Spa it is. Okay, I don't need that much if I'm gonna be struggling on trying to get the power down. It's already planted enough. We'll go about it. We'll give it a gander. We'll give it a gander. I'm gonna still start at the back of the pack. Don't really mind the grid start here. I haven't, but I do have a couple guys that have the VR headset, and they do say it's very much worth it. Kind of gives you like a little bit of at least a free head movement, and even so you can still race online on VR like you would do as normally. I want to at least maybe get a wheel one day. I'm still just kind of running a controller right now. Especially with like the car exhibition type of thing, you can still kind of go about going into checking out the engine bay and checking out the inside, so it's definitely worth it. I do have AC7 on my Switch. I need to finish the Ace difficulty. But I also got Ace Combat 7 on my PS4 and my computer, so I don't know if I feel like replaying the game for like the 7th time in a row. But as for like VR, I know there is a good amount of good games on PC that use VR, so I'm kind of tempted about it. It's just kind of a lot expensive to get the recent model. Okay, I did not know about that. Yeah, that's another thing, like the RAM cards and the graphics cards, like especially like the good stuff, like it's a pretty penny. I do definitely want to not just upgrade my rig, but I do definitely want to like update it. I'm running on a 3060 Ti that I bought maybe like 2 years ago, and it holds out enough, at least for Battlefield and some of my other games. But I kind of want to update the processor and at least some RAM wise, I'm kind of okay. I'm at 32 gigs of RAM, so it holds out. It's just storage. The games are kind of getting a little too crazy in size. Not just Battlefield taking almost like 60 gigs on trying to install everything. It takes a minute. It does kind of get me started. Okay, but when I try to get into games, it puts me a little bit behind because it kind of takes a minute to get into the games. Yeah, I was trying to keep up with the prices, and I saw like kind of how wild it was getting. I don't know if I wanna, risk it for the biscuit. But yeah, I got my 3060 like 2 years ago. It was on sale, so I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and upgrade from the 1660 I used to have. Oh, we got mayhem. People getting impatient. It's starting to lag a bit. Yeah, I was trying to kind of do it earlier, but got busy doing a couple of things. At least that way I don't have to stream so late since I gotta get up a little bit early and go to work. Just hoping that my car is ready. Just a typical car maintenance. Nothing too serious. Just making sure that everything is good on it. Copy that. Yeah, I want to say maybe I'm like about an hour in, I want to say. Had a little bit of a rough start. God dang. For what? For like just an 8 gig or the 16? Because that's a really steep price. But seeing kind of like how all these AI stuff is happening, I can kind of see why it's been driving the prices so far up. Yeah, that's damn. I didn't know I was gonna drive the prices that far up. That's what I have on my computer. About to drop almost $500 for a set of RAM. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. And hearing about all the tariffs that get added into anything that you're trying to buy from outside the US, so I don't know if I want to take that chance. NSX is just hella laggy. I'm just gonna back off because that stutter is throwing me off. French just kinda killed the guy. Yeah, this be exactly as to like how it's like to play TDM on Infinity, and half of the lobby is on a bad connection, and yeah, it's bad. I cannot keep a decent proximity because of the constant skipping. I wasn't even that close to him. So I don't know if that was me or who knows. I had enough of a gap, so I don't know if it needs to be a braking marker or just kind of wanted to brake a little bit later. I don't know where he ended up getting the whole penalty from, but that's gonna draw me a little bit closer to him. He's a little bit understeery. At least I'm glad that I paid attention because he was braking a little bit earlier than what I could have started braking. There's gonna be another penalty added. I'm way too far from 5th place. I missed my marker there. Copy that. Yeah, I'm trying to not get too aggressive to where I just kind of not try and be in the grass too much. Especially on cars that just have really high boost and kick the back end of your car. So I'm trying to minimize that. This track is very easy to end up in that green slippery zone just outside the curb and completely lose out the car. But then again, I'm trying not to overdrive and currently losing the grip. I'll take a P5 though. I don't know who was there in the grass. I know I was in at least number 6. I don't know who ended up getting bounced off. I want to say it was Bullets. Because I know he was up there, but I don't know what happened. I usually tend to race with him pretty often. He's quick, so something must have happened. Well, at least lap time, I wasn't that far off from the group, besides first. Since we're still over here using the Supra. But I wonder. Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling somebody probably got knocked off into the grass. Oh man. But hopefully it doesn't get too laggy to where everything and everybody's gonna start to skip about. At least right now it's holding pretty good. This game is rather known to not have that greater servers, so I'm just trying to do what I can before I get hit with the netcode of all things. What should I go about right now? I don't use the Lexus too often. I really don't. It is very torque heavy, so gotta be careful, especially on the tight corners. Yeah, just like a phone reception antenna. When everything just kind of loads up quicker than being several miles away, and it just kind of takes you a second for things to kind of buffer. That's kind of how he kind of gets downtown, at least by the Riverwalk for me. There's a whole phone antenna like in the middle, and all the apartments and anybody around just kind of gets a rather too great of a connection. So I can just imagine how fast everything is kind of loads over there. So I already know those servers are gonna be like Battlefield 6 on its debut day. It's gonna take at least a couple of hours, maybe, until somebody's able to get into like the multiplayer servers, because I know that game is gonna be busy. I did play GTA 5 a little bit with some of my friends back then, but I've never really been like huge into GTA. Like I'll watch somebody play it, but kind of doesn't really bring my attention like some other game series like Resident Evil or Metal Gear Solid or Ace Combat, like the games. And a bit of a warm-up. Racing in the cockpit with a controller, it's not easy. It's some getting used to. I do definitely wish I had a wheel, because I'm pretty sure my pace or my type of racing could be a little bit different from what I'm able to do on a controller. But I think I do okay. I think I do just enough. But we have turn 1 goes in this track. I am better off starting at the back. Brother, the race just started and somebody already got murdered. What are we doing? Not even 1,000 feet from the starting line and somebody already got murdered. Yeah, that's gonna be a penalty on myself. I was trying to give him the space because that was a little bit of an unfair push. That's gonna understeal myself a lot of it. Oh man, I believe it. I've been on Instagram enough to where I've seen people with like a full-on built cockpit with a whole wheel and the metrics and everything. So knowing just kind of how that looks, I can just imagine how expensive that is. And yeah, I love racing games, I love this type of stuff, but would I grab the money? Probably not. That's kind of a little too overcommitted there. Damn it! Yeah, I think I might need to raise the nose maybe like a smidge. It's planted enough, but it does not really like the hairpins. I lost so much ground from that. I'm trying not to be too aggressive to where I get hit with a penalty with the net code, so trying to keep up, but then again I'm not trying to get too close from that kind of lagging. That's gonna be another penalty. Or not. I don't know what happened there. That was in the purple too. This would have been a pretty good lap too. Now I got these two over here just fighting for the position. I'm pushing a little wide there, but I'm still gonna keep my distance. I know he mad. But then again, he just kind of did it too, so. Didn't have that great of an exit, but I'll take P5. Was just trying to be patient because I was not about to start fighting somebody. Hit for a position and probably end up getting hit off because of the lag. So I was just better off just trying to keep my distance there. But not too bad. Back of the pack to top 5. I'll take it. Yeah, it's weird how the servers work in this game. It's a toss-up. Because I could race with people from Chile and not have a single issue with, like close racing or anything like that, but let me race with somebody from the States, like somebody from East Coast or something like that, and you just be a lag fest. So it's dumb how the servers work. I'm on Google Chrome, so I know that's definitely not me. They had closed Gran Turismo Sport, which was the previous game before this one, and I would expect the servers to be a little bit better. Apparently not. The servers are still like day one type of servers, to where you don't really know what you're gonna expect in terms of racing. So yeah, there's that. Don't get me wrong, I'm still playing it. But the fact that I can have better racing on Forza than connectivity on here, yeah, it kind of turns people off. God damn the amount of people that that dropped off. Like, this is not even a bad track, bro. Oh my god, that was like 6 people just like off the rip. I would rather run this track than the same old track all day, every day, like some of the lobbies that I've seen. Yeah, this tends to happen sometimes to where your car doesn't even load up when it's like on the pits or on the side until you get on. I thought I wasn't understanding that much, but it's just an outlap. And then I just made this delivery, I want to say Thursday. I didn't want to change the rims because these are the only default rims for this car, so now the car has them, so I just kind of wanted to still keep them on. Kind of like a little bit of trademark since it's one of the airlines that I work with, so I always like the livery of Alaska, so I just kind of use it as like my own staple for recent liveries. Which it looks pretty good, at least in my opinion. But okay, going to the next race, since we lost 6 people after that track change. Crazy. And those 6 people that left was a lot of good racers, so I don't know I'm gonna be expecting for this one. I just had to get onto third gear. I had the freaking pace of a goddamn god on that, and I just freaking choked it. I'm not even gonna fight it with this guy. I got damage on. Freaking P3, dog. P3. And I just choke it like that. Fucking A. Only because I had to get in the curb. I'm not perfect, so I do my mistakes, so I'm trying to figure out what's a faster line. And I got these two up there just fighting. I could have just kept it nice and smooth. I was just trying to catch up to the two in front of me, and what happens when you start overdriving, because I do that too much. I think that could have been a good lap too. So that could have been at least like a low 209. Okay, I don't know what happened there. We got another man down. I don't know if he got bumped off or who knows. He was P2, so I honestly don't know. I missed my shift. If not, could have been a little bit closer. I just about redlined third, and yeah, it's kind of lost the speed advantage there. And those two started fighting at the worst time. Well, at least I recovered some, but I'm still salty that I freaking threw a race like that. I cannot freaking believe that. I had the pace, I had the movement. As soon as I got in the curb going into the bridge, freaking rip. The race just out the window. I had made so many positions since the race started, and then I didn't matter after that mistake. Oh yeah, I've raced with these guys plenty of times before. They're pretty good guys, fast guys. Usually, I'll always end up racing clean with them, so that's all I gotta say. Usually around the time that I tend to see them in the lobbies, maybe like 2 in the morning or so. And I am trying to stay awake, stay awake until some good racing kicks in. But yeah, doesn't happen too often. I've raced with a couple of Italians, good guys too. And I tend to have my days where I'm catching up or just kind of just around the ballpark. I want to say it's like 7 hours ahead, so give it a take, yes. I still got my time from my trip to Berlin that I did a couple years ago, so it's just 6 in the morning, I want to say, from that area of the world. Yeah, 6 in the morning. A quarter after 6. Let's use this thing because I've hardly ever used it. It's very planted, so I don't have really high hopes on the bumps. But I'll do what I can. I'm probably gonna call it here. I still gotta go about eating something and then gotta wake up early. I'm just hoping that my car is at least ready tomorrow morning or probably in the afternoon, so I'm just kinda hoping to at least have my car for the rest of the week. Plus, I'm kind of getting sleepy, so it's kind of adding up to that. I'm still having flashbacks when we all used to stay up till very late, just running sorties and hoping for a good raid. And then everybody in the PS3 chat would be like, just sending out the invites. But for sure, brother, appreciate you swinging in. I really was not expecting you to pop in. I definitely haven't seen you in a minute, but at least it was good to see you. Thank you for dropping by. I just been barely starting to get back on streaming again. I definitely want to do it more often since we're about to have the slow season at least coming in at the airport. So I kind of want to take more advantage of that. Get at least a little bit of a community going. That is, if I can. I don't think I'm that great at racing either way, but I'm trying. Take it easy, bro. It's good to see you. Hopefully next time I see you might probably be just me playing this Combat Infinity like kind of like the old days, but I'll see what I decide to fire up next time. race just started. We already got 3 people off the track. I should have been able to undercut there if I didn't brake late. I had the purple and I had to play safe. Considering how much space I gave that Porsche to almost knocking me off the grass going into that kink, yeah, I think I should have just kind of cut in a little bit earlier. But then I would have kind of cut him off and I would have gotten hit, so that would have ended up well anyway. I'm not sure what happened between those two, but considering that I almost got taken out by him going into the right corner, I don't know if he was on the pause menu to where I kind of got bumped up, but then he was glitching as well. It's hard to judge. It's a little bit hard to judge. All right, of course. Typical rebel ring. Okay. I mean, I'm an A2, but you can just be over here just bumping people off just cuz. Even though I do it, but I still give the position back. Last couple of races I've seen people get taken out but not even say sorry or even give the spot back. Okay, last race for sure. But with those last two races, I am not trusting turn one on here. Whether it's turn one or turn two, I already know it's gonna be bad. I'm just gonna be patient, but either way I'm still gonna get started prior to the grid. So I'm gonna have to probably put myself in the grass to drop back to the back of the pack. Because even if I do a lap or not, then nothing is gonna matter. I don't know what happened in the left-hander. I don't know if he just kind of missed his marker or what, but I was doing so well going into a purple, and yeah, I don't think I kept a fast lap after that. So I was like, what, like 2 tenths up, I think. But at least I got P3, so started way at the back. P3, I'll take it. That was a really good pace. That was a really good pace. Oh, I did actually keep that fast lap. Bet. Copy that. 29.7. I think I could have done like a 29.5 if it wasn't for that hiccup from the Audi. But that was really solid. At least for my part. I was making up ground pretty good. And then I don't know what happened with those guys. But despite what he chooses, that's gonna be it for me. I at least had some good runs on my part, so I'm at least take my podium and run with it. I think I gotta do oil change on this Huracan. I wanna say so. Oh, it's good enough. Supra's good. Beetle's good. Oh, the Beamer. I don't think I gotta do it my main Huracan, but I'm at least checking everything to make sure that if I need to do the oil change on it. But at least I had some good races to at least close up with. That very first race I had earlier, man, that was janky. It was janky, and then the St. Croix race, I completely botched it. And yeah, honestly, that race should have been a P3 as well. Maybe a P2. But that's just kind of picturing if I would have kept my pace. But alright, y'all. Take it easy. If there's any lurkers, appreciate y'all. And I'll catch y'all probably sometime this week, if not probably on Saturday. Take care.